Good morning, everyone. It's Crypto Meal Analysis coming at you with an update video on Bitcoin, your daily video on Bitcoin. So nothing has really changed from yesterday's update video, but I did want to make a quick update stating that Bitcoin is tapping back into the major support zone again, at which we have boxed here in the purple box, 83,000 to 91.3. So today's price action probably shows the next move in play, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Bitcoin is currently trading around 90,186, pulling back about 2% after failing to break above that key mid-range resistance at 91,300. On today's chart, you can see that Bitcoin's wicking directly into the purple demand zone between 88 and 91,000. This has been one of the strongest support zones this entire cycle. We've been here since November. We've been here since November 19th. So we're almost going on a month of consolidation in this area of support. So just keep in mind, every single time we've come into this level, we've attempted to break out, and technically you are making higher highs, but it could be a bear flag forming and we might fall off the table, which we'll obviously talk about a little bit later in this video. So now taking a look at the EMAs, these the simple moving averages, the 20, the 50, the 100, and 200 are all extremely compressed and starting to flatten out. Okay, this type of compression historically signals one thing: a big volatility expansion is coming. It doesn't tell us the direction yet, but it tells us that there's a strong move that's coming. Once you're, when you're curling down and price is below it, it's bearish. It's just tagging on all the moving averages, and then basically put prices going down, moving averages are curling down. When it's going up, obviously it's ahead of the moving averages. But when you're consolidating sideways, and when you get compression and sideways, and when the EMAs flatten out, it does mean that there's a big move coming with the last move unfortunately being a move to the downside. So with that being said, it's happening again. So I want to say maybe in a week or two we're going to see some sort, if not sooner than that, we're going to see some sort of big move up. Now the RSI is sitting around 44, rising from one of the lowest levels we've seen in months. Every single time the RSI has rebounded from this zone in the last year, Bitcoin followed with a multi-week rally. So momentum is slowly shifting back towards the bulls, but we still need confirmation from price. So here are the key levels that matter right now: 88 to 91,000, the current support, which we're bouncing today; 95 to 98,000, which is short-term resistance. BTC must reclaim this to be bullish again, or attempt to be bullish again. And then 106,000 is the mid-range target. And if we break above 100,000, then this is exactly why I haven't deleted this target yet, between 139 to 148. This is the major macro expansion zone at the top of the chart. And I think that would be the next all-time high for Bitcoin, which is again 139 to 148,000. So a couple key world events affecting Bitcoin right now. These are macro drivers behind Bitcoin's move right now. So the Fed interest rate policy, markets are pricing in more potential rate cuts, but uncertainty is high, causing volatility across risk assets. ETF inflows, which are institutional inflows, unfortunately have slowed this week, removing some of the upside pressure we saw earlier this year. Global geopolitical tensions, escalation in several regions is increasing demand for safe haven assets while also adding market fear. NASDAQ weakness this week is dragging Bitcoin down due to high correlation. And then the liquidity conditions. The global liquidity remains tight, and Bitcoin historically struggles in these conditions until liquidity begins expanding again, which in the future we could actually look at these charts. We could look at the ETF inflows and the liquidity conditions, but I'll start including that in obviously in future videos when my Bitcoin videos are a little bit longer, and they're not going to be daily. But so here's the bottom line. Bitcoin is holding one of the strongest support zones this entire cycle. If the bulls defend this level between 83 and 91, we could see a quick pushback to 95 to 100,000 very quickly. But if we lose this zone unfortunately, the chart clearly shows us that $83,000 is next. That's where major liquidity sits. The next big move is going to be, it's going to be to 70,000. I don't know what else to say. I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people don't like me saying that, but that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. We could always just say, hey, this thing's bottomed and we're getting ready for the next bull run. We are all entitled to our opinions. Now, just like that, we're back in fear again. Unfortunately, we're back in fear again. So the fear and greed index is sitting on fear. We never got any sort of alt season. We did get some nice bounces, especially from Luna Classic, and some other coins had some nice moves, but I don't know if they're giving, basically everything's going back down now again. So hopefully if you bought those coins, you took profits. And if not, I totally understand, because we always want our coins to go to the moon. So I totally get it. Now, another indicator to mention on the weekly is the Gaussian channel. We always talk about this, and I always include this now on the videos. So, wow, we're perfect timing. So we are in the channel right now, and typically with the history of BTC, whenever we enter the channel and chop around and break below the average, below the center, it does typically mark the beginning of a bear market before we have a capitulation. So again, it happened in 2018, it happened in 2022, and now it's happened again. So you can see that during the bull run, we came in the channel, but we did get a bounce every single time. And with this correction, now we are literally hanging on to this channel. So once we break 70,000, or once we get to once we break 83,000, we are going to be below the channel. The bear market's already started. When we could look back and say, oh my God, the bear market's already started. And 70,000 would be next, which would put the nail in the coffin and start printing red. And I'd say, how many days are we talking about bear market, right? If we're already sitting through some sort of bear market, then we're looking at, almost a year, 279 days. This was 400 days. So we're looking at nonstop bearish, for at least 1 year. So, and obviously, it's the worst feeling ever being in a bear market, because you always think it's just going to go up. It's just going to go up. So just be careful, plan accordingly, and just manage your risk and your assets accordingly. So if you're buying Bitcoin, theoretically, the next area where I'm buying Bitcoin is going to be 70,000. I'm going to be buying 0.002 BTC at 70,000. That's going to be the next video I make. And with that being said, I will keep you updated. None of this is financial advice. It is all just my opinion. Thank you so much for your support. Please comment below, where do you think Bitcoin is headed by the end of the year? Do you think we're going to break 95,000 and head to 100,000 again? Or do you think that we're cooked, we're never seeing 100,000 at least for the next year or two, and we are going to come back down to 83, then 70,000? Please let me know in the comments. Have a great day, and I'll catch everybody in the next video.